let's go ahead and talk about adjacent angles. Adjacent angles are angles that are directly next to each other. So these angles have to touch each other. They can't be separated by another angle. So if I were to draw, let's call this ABC. And let me go ahead and draw another ray called D. That means I got two angles. I would call this angle 1 right here and angle 2 right there. That ray makes two angles, and we can say angle 1 and angle 2 are adjacent angles because they're right next to each other. So, and what we know, we can put angle 1 and angle 2 are adjacent. Okay, if I were to add another angle right here called 3, 3 and 2 would not be adjacent. They're not next to each other. They're separated by angle 1. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay, angle addition postulate. This is like the segment addition postulate, except we're adding angles instead of adding lines. If J is in the middle of FGH, then the measure of FGH is congruent to the sum of the measures of FGJ and JGH. So let's go ahead and label our diagram. They say FGH is a big angle right here, and it's divided by a ray that we're going to call GJ. As you can see, angle FGJ and angle JGH would add up to the total angle of angle FGH. And keep in mind, FGJ and FJGH are also adjacent angles. You can tell after I label angle 1 and angle 2, that's the same thing as FGJ and JGH. A way to remember is little plus little is going to give you a big angle. Okay, let's go ahead and do an example. If HIJ is 110, HIJ is this big angle that is going to be 110 degrees, and KIJ is 40. Then find HIK. So this is similar to the angle addition, the segment addition postulate. We can call HIKX. I'm sure you guys can already tell what it's going to be, but the algebra would look like this. X plus 40 would give you 110, and then you subtract 40 from both sides, and it will give you X is equal to 70 degrees. And that's the same thing as HIK. So the measure of HIK is 70 degrees. And we don't have to fill out the rest. I'm sure you guys can visually tell why it's 70 degrees. Okay, N is the interior of jam. If the measure of NAJ is 7x minus 1. So now we're going to apply algebra. So we're going to call this 7x minus 1. And the measure of MAN is 4x minus 3. And jam is 95. Find the measure of MAN. Okay, so we're going to do 7x minus 1 plus 4x minus 3 is going to be the whole angle jam, which is 95 degrees. First thing, guys, is to combine like terms. 11x minus 4 will give you 95. Add 4 to both sides, you get 11x equals 99. And you end up with x is equal to 9. Make sure to read the question correctly. We're looking for MAN, not x. So we're going to plug x back into MAN, which will be 4x minus 3. So we're going to do 4 times 9 minus 3 is equal to angle MAN, which would give you 33 degrees. Lastly, we want to cover angle bisector. Angle bisector is like segment bisector. Remember, bisect means to cut into two equal parts. So that means an angle bisector is going to cut a big angle into two equal parts. So a ray that cuts an angle into two angles that are congruent. Our diagram, we're going to say AF will bisect our big angle EAB, Therefore, EAF is going to be congruent to FAB. It's important for you guys to draw those markings to indicate that those angles are congruent. Now, it's also important to note that you can't assume a ray bisects an angle. It has to tell you it bisects it. Just like a midpoint, it has to say midpoint, it has to say bisect. If AF bisects angle EAB, then EAF is equal to FAB. Okay, let's go ahead and do two simple examples. So TY bisects EAT. I'm going to draw my markings. That means ATY is congruent to YTE. So if ETY is 56, find measure of ATY. So let's go ahead and do that first. ATY is congruent, so this is also going to be 56 degrees. And find the measure of ATY. Oh, sorry, I messed up this one. Find the measure of ATE. That means ATE is going to be this big angle. That's just going to be 56 plus 56. Which is 112 degrees. Lastly, we're going to apply some algebra. KT bisects. So I'm going to draw my markings. And then label LKT as 7x plus 8. And TKN as x plus 20. So just like a midpoint, we're going to set those two equations equal to each other and solve for x. So we get 7x plus 8 equals x plus 20. First thing you want to do is get all your x's on one side. So I'm going to subtract x by both sides. You get 6x plus 8 equals 20. Don't subtract 20. We're going to subtract 8 because we want all our constants on the other side of our x's. So we subtract 8 from both sides. You end up with 6x equals 12. That means x is equal to 2 after we divide by 6. And the reason for that is because angle LKT equals angle TKN. Okay, and that is it.